Guys, this is Zach at Rockstar, and I'm going to show you how I use Common Assessment Pack 1 in my music classroom. When you download the file, you're going to see this folder. It is a zip file. It says Common Assessment Pack 1. In order to open this up, you're going to want to right-click and hit Extract All. It'll take just a moment after you click Extract to open up the files. Once it's open, you see Common Assessment Pack 1. We can double click that, and you have 3 folders: Assessment 1, Assessment 2, Assessment 3, and Assessment Data. I'll show you the test in Assessment 1, and then we'll look at the data together. If I double click Assessment 1, I see multiple PDFs and another folder of sound files. If I click on Music Assessment 1 blank, this is the version that I will print for my students. We have name and homeroom. We have a section for note identification. We have a section for rhythm addition, a section for listening to rhythm examples, and a section for listening to musical instruments. Okay, and again, this is the version that I would print for students. Let's look at the other files as well, though. So that's that. We also have Music Assessment 1 with sound, and this is really useful. If I double click that, of course, the first 2 sections are ones that you can complete without guidance, right? We identify letter names, we add up the rhythms. When you get to section 3, however, on the interactive PDF with sound, there's a little ear icon after each question. What I can do there is if I click number 12, for example, number 12, 1, 2, ready, and that's going to play the rhythm example. After I've played that, I can right click, hit disable content, and that will reset it so that if I needed to play it again, I could. As you can see, we can also do section 4 with the listening instrument examples. I click left, and that starts my sample. What's really useful about this PDF is that if you have a substitute that you need to administer your test, which I actually had to do last year, this makes it really easy for your substitute to proctor the exam, and students get everything they need to. Also, if you have a student that is absent, you can put this PDF on an iPad and give the student an iPad and some headphones, and they can go in the hall or wherever you have them, fill out the test for themselves. They can play these examples as many times as they need to. What's nice about the iPad is you don't have to fuss with the left click, right click. On an iPad, once you click the sound example and it's finished, it will go back to the ear and the student can play it again as many times as they need to. I've also included with the folder the sound files individually, so if you want to play them off of your computer, you can. Number 12, 1, 2, ready, and. Or if you wanted to put these on an iPod or an iPhone or whatever it is you want to give your test with, that works. So that is the assessment. All 3 assessments are organized the same way with sound files, blank, and answer keys for you. And let's look at the data too. Since data is a big piece of evaluations these days, I wanted to make sure that I included this in the package. I have this set up already. Yours will come blank, but I have an example class here, and as we can see, I have each student listed 1 through 24. I have this established so that you can go up to 30 students if you need to. But if I'm looking here, what I've gone through is taken the real class and I've entered in their scores. So for each item, 1 through 20, if they got it correct, it's worth 1 point. That is already entered for you. If they got it incorrect, I mark it as a 0. When I go to the column on the far right, it shows me that student's score. And then what's really useful here is when I look at the bottom, out of 24 students, it tells me how many students got that item correct. So as I'm looking through here, I can see that question number 1, most students got. Question number 3, all the students that took this test got correctly. Number 4 as well. Now number 5, that is, I happen to remember that is middle C. And so the students have really done a good job of remembering Every Good Boy Does Fine on Face on a Space, but not so great at remembering middle C or D. So this tells me that I need to focus heavily on middle C in the coming year. I also want to spend a lot of time discussing rhythms and the beat values of notes. This is the listening section, and the kids did a pretty good job of figuring that out. And then here, this is instrument examples, where, again, they weren't so great at identifying an alto saxophone or a French horn. Flute, they did fairly well with. Clarinet, not so well. Piano was essentially a free space for them. So this tells me, again, that they know what a piano sounds like. French horn, not so much. So I want to spend some more time covering instrument families as well. This is assessment 1. What's great here is I can look at assessment 2, and we'll say student 1. I'm going to enter in just some random scores for them. I've got a 0 there. I've got a 0 there. We'll say he missed a couple of those. Still not doing great on instrument identification. So I can look back now at assessment 1, see that that student scored a 12, and if this was a real score, assessment 2, if I see the score of 10, I see a negative growth of 2, which is, of course, this is a fictitious student, but we would want to address that. So you can look from assessment 1 to assessment 2 to assessment 3 and see how that student has performed throughout the year. Again, your copy of this will be blank, other than having all of the ones entered for you. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at Teachers Pay Teachers. Please, please, please check out Rockin' Recorders. And as always, rock on. Have a great day and good luck. Bye now.